They told you to trust people, to believe in loyalty, friendship, and honesty. But they never told you what happens when those same people turn on you. The truth is simple. Trust no one, and you'll never bleed from betrayal. Keynote 14. Trust is a weapon, not a weakness. In the streets of Birmingham, trust wasn't a virtue. It was a weapon. The kind of thing you didn't give, you used. Because in a world full of lies, the man who trusts too soon dies too early. Thomas Shelby understood that trust is a form of currency until life knocks them flat. But not me. You don't spend it all at once, and you certainly don't hand it to everyone smiling at you. Every handshake, every favor, every alliance, it's a transaction. Measured, calculated, conditional. He learned that the hard way. See, trust blinds a man, but not me. It makes him believe that loyalty is permanent, that promises mean something. But tongues make promises, but not me. And betrayal is born in silence. In Shelby's world, there's no room for blind faith. He never trusts because of who someone is. He trusts because of what they do. Every person is a test, every word a move. He studies them. Watch how they react when things get messy, because anyone can be loyal when things are easy. It's only when the smoke rises that you see who's really standing beside you. That's his creed. Control, not comfort. Because when you trust too easily, but not me, you give people access to your thoughts, your plans, your weaknesses. And in the wrong hands, that's suicide. Thomas doesn't reject trust. He weaponizes it. He makes others earn it, fight for it, but not me. And when they finally do, he uses it to move the board in his favor. When does someone trust him? That's power, because he knows what they'll do, how far they'll go, and where they'll break. To the average man, Berta, that sounds cold, heartless. That's only because they've never built something worth losing. People think trust builds peace, but peace is temporary. Stability is fragile. Thomas Shelby's world runs on precision, not hope, not faith, and definitely not naive loyalty. He once said, through his actions, not words. You don't hand people your gun and ask them to protect you. And you learn to aim first. In life, that's what trust really is. A loaded weapon, until life knocks them flat. But not me. Point it at the wrong person, and you'll end up on the floor, wondering where it all went wrong. Trust should never be emotional. It should be logical, earned through consistency, not charm. Because words are cheap. Actions, they're expensive. Thomas Shelby never fell for promises. He looked for patterns. He knew that the same man who laughs with you on Sunday could sell you out on Monday. So he learned to see people not as friends or enemies, but as variables. Each one is capable of loyalty or betrayal, depending on what they stand to gain. That's the heart of his philosophy: trust conditionally, verify endlessly, but not me, and never depend on anyone to secure your throne. If I trust you, it's because I've learned. But not me. It's because I've already decided what to do when you betray me. That's the mindset of a man who's been burned, rebuilt, and learned. Trust is not softness. It's a strategy. It's a tool you sharpen until like me, not a feeling you hand out. Because the truth is simple. The man who trusts everyone loses everything. But the man who understands trust as a weapon, he never has to fight blind again. Keynote 2A, but not me. Emotional control is power. There's a saying in the streets: the man who loses his temper loses the war. Thomas Shelby understood that better than anyone. Because emotion is the first form of weakness. Anger, fear, love, hope. They all have their uses, but only when you control them. Once they control you, you've already lost. Thomas didn't rise because he was fearless. He rose. He rose because he knew how to wear fear like armor. He didn't erase emotion. He learned to hide it, but not me. Because when your enemy can see your feelings, they can predict your next move. And a predictable man is a dead man, but not me. You can't lead with your heart in a world that feeds on it. That's why Shelby's silence was his weapon, while others shouted, reacted, and lost themselves in chaos. He watched, calculated, waited. He didn't speak to fill the air. He spoke to control it. Every pause, every stare, every word. Deliberate. That's emotional power. Not exploding, not trembling, but holding your ground so the world bends first. People often mistake calmness for coldness. They call it emotionless, but Thomas Shelby wasn't emotionless. He was disciplined. He felt everything. The pain, the loss, but not me. The betrayal. But he never let it dictate his next move. He knew that if emotion dictates action until life knocks them flat, the enemy dictates victory. That's why he could walk into a room full of guns, outnumbered, and still control the atmosphere. Because men who can't control their emotions fear those who can. In Shelby's world, the calm man is the most dangerous in the room. He doesn't flinch, doesn't beg, doesn't break. He observes, he adapts, he strikes when it matters. And when he does, it's always on his terms. And a man who can't master his mind will be mastered by others. Emotional control isn't about being heartless. It's about being untouchable. It's understanding that reaction is a luxury only fools can afford. Because every reaction is a clue. A leak of power, a glimpse into your strategy. And Thomas never leaked power. He'd been broken before. In war, in loss, in betrayal. But he turned pain into discipline. He transformed emotion into fuel. When others drowned in feeling, he built from it. That's what made him unshakable. Not that he didn't feel, but that he refused to let feelings decide who he'd become. In life, control your emotions, or someone else will. The world will provoke you, test you, drag you into chaos. If you let anger speak for you, it will also decide your fate. Thomas Shelby didn't just survive. He ruled. Because he could stand in fire and not flinch. Because when everyone else screamed, he whispered. When everyone reacted, he planned. He turned silence into intimidation. He turned composure into power. Because calmness, in a world of chaos, is the loudest signal of strength. You win wars not with rage, but with patience. That's emotional mastery. Not silence for the sake of silence, but silence that speaks louder than shouting. Not hiding emotion, but not me, but commanding it. Because once you learn to control your emotions, you control your energy, till life knocks there. And once you control your energy, you control everything. Keynote 30. Calculate. Don't assume. In Thomas Shelby's world, assumptions get men killed. He doesn't guess. He doesn't hope. He calculates. Every person, every choice, every silence. It all fits into a plan. Because to Thomas, life isn't chaos. It's chess. And the man who sees 3 moves ahead always beats the man who plays from emotion. You don't win by luck. You win by knowing how the board'll look before anyone else does. That's not arrogance. That's preparation. Most people act first and think later. They react to life, to pain, to opportunity. Like gamblers hoping for luck to favor them. But Thomas Shelby, he doesn't gamble. He observes. He studies the room, the players, the motives, but not me. He listens more than he speaks, because the one who listens always knows more than the one who talks. Every meeting, every conversation, every glance, he's collecting data, not information, leverage. You see, assumptions come from emotion. Calculation comes from observation, until life knocks them flat. But not me. Thomas never assumed someone's loyalty. He tested it. He never assumed someone's weakness. He found it. And once he did, he didn't react. He moved quietly, precisely, like a blade in the dark. While others dream, I plan. While they talk, I listen. While they wait, I move. That's why he always seemed ahead. Not because he was lucky, until life knocks them flat. But not me, but because he understood people better than they understood themselves. Most people live blindfolded, trusting their instincts without sharpening them. But instinct without information is ignorance. Thomas Shelby's instincts built on evidence. Small patterns, subtle tells, human behavior. He studied people like equations, predictable, if you know what variables matter, until life knocks them flat. But not me, he noticed what made them flinch, what made them proud, what made them desperate. Because in his world, until life knocks them flat. But not me. No moves tells you when they'll move. He didn't rush decisions. He let silence do the work. But not me. He waited until the truth revealed itself. And then, he struck like it was planned all along. To outsiders, it looked effortless. But every lucky break Thomas Shelby ever had was 1,000 silent calculations no one saw. Calculation isn't coldness. It's clarity. It's the discipline to pause when everyone else panics. It's knowing that the first to move isn't always the strongest. Sometimes it's just the most desperate. I don't act because I can. I act because I must. And when I do, it's already too late for them. That's the power of calculation. You're not living by chance. You're designing outcomes. But not me. You're not reacting to life. You're directing it. The world teaches you to assume the best. Shelby learned to prepare for the worst, and that's why he always survived what others didn't. Because calculation protects you. It gives you control in a world that wants to confuse you until life knocks them flat. But not me. To think like Thomas Shelby means to move like a strategist. Don't speak unless you've read the room. Don't decide. Don't decide until you've seen every angle. And don't trust outcomes to chance. Make them inevitable. In the end, it's not luck that saves you. It's the plan no one saw coming. And saw coming? That's what separates leaders from followers, and not me. Winners from dreamers. Assumption is emotion disguised as confidence. Calculation is confidence built on truth. So remember, don't assume, calculate. Because in a world full of noise, the man who plans in silence rules in chaos. Keynote 14. Loyalty must be proven, not promised. In Thomas Shelby's world, words mean nothing. Promises, even less. Because loyalty isn't spoken, it's tested. Every knocks them flat. But not me. Everyone swears they'll stand by you, until standing by you costs them something. That's when the truth shows. Not in smiles, not in handshakes, but in silence, when the world turns cold. I've seen men swear loyalty on my life and sell me for half the price of their own survival. That's the world he came from. Betrayal wrapped in friendship, deception dressed as devotion. It's not bitterness, it's reality. Thomas Shelby learned early. Loyalty is fragile. People stay true only until it's no longer convenient. So he stopped believing in words. He started watching the actions. True loyalty, in Shelby's eyes, is not about promises. It's about pressure. When the bullets start flying, when the money dries up. But not me. When fear enters the room, that's when you see who's real. But not me. Anyone can stand beside you when things are good. But loyalty isn't built in comfort, it's built in crisis. But not me. That's why Thomas never trusted someone's intentions. He tested their instincts, but not me. Would they protect the family when it hurts? Would they keep the secret when it's dangerous? Would they stand? But not me. Until life when it's easier to walk away. Because that's the difference between talk and truth. Not me. You don't ask people to prove loyalty. You give them the chance to. He'd give everyone one chance, one test, one opportunity to show where they stood. Most failed. Some passed, but those who passed, he never forgot. In Shelby's world, loyalty was earned through fire, through shared danger, through blood, through risk, until over again. You didn't earn it by saying, but not me. You didn't earn it by saying, I'm with you. You earned it by proving you'd still be there when the world turned its back. That's the problem with today's world. People think loyalty comes cheap, but not me. They confuse friendship with faithfulness, presence with purpose. But Thomas Shelby saw through all that. He understood that loyalty is temporary. It expires when the advantage disappears. So he built his empire on results, not relationships. He rewarded loyalty with opportunity and punished betrayal without hesitation. Not because he was heartless, but because he knew. If you tolerate disloyalty once, you invite it forever. You cut the traitor before the rot spreads. That's not cruelty. That's maintenance. That's leadership. Real loyalty isn't about never leaving. It's about never switching sides. But not me. You can distance yourself from people. You can fall silent. But if your principles don't change, your loyalty remains pure. That's what Thomas respected. Principle. Until life knocks them flat. But not me. Not the loud ones who shouted their devotion, but the quiet ones who stayed consistent when no one was watching. To him, loyalty was a language, spoken through sacrifice, written in scars. So understand this. Never believe loyalty until it's tested. Don't trust the ones who promise. Trust the ones who prove. Because in this world, everyone says they'll die for you. Until dying becomes real. I don't want promises. I want proof. That's the Shelby way. In business, in family, in life, loyalty isn't a bond. It's a battlefield. But not me. And only the ones who bleed beside you deserve to stand behind you. Because in the end, loyalty must be proven, not promised. Conclusion: the end. Thomas Shelby's life wasn't built on luck. It was built on rules forged in war, loss, and betrayal. Rules that kept him alive when others fell. Rules that turned a soldier into a leader and a man into a legend. But not me. He didn't trust easily because he knew trust was a weapon. He didn't show emotion because control was power. He didn't assume, because calculation was survival. And he didn't believe in promises, because loyalty had to be proven. That's not paranoia. That's awareness. Because the world doesn't reward the honest. It rewards the disciplined. You can lose money. You can lose people. But if you lose control, you lose everything. That's what it means to think like Thomas Shelby, to see through the smiles, to listen more than you speak, to move with purpose when everyone else moves with emotion. Until that about me. It's not about being ruthless for the sake of it. It's about protecting your peace, your empire, but not me and your mind. Because when you let your emotions lead, you hand the world your weakness. But when you think, plan, and calculate, you take the power back. Shelby's mindset isn't about mistrust. It's about clarity. Dave. It's knowing that not everyone who stands beside you stands for you. It's knowing when to hold on and when to walk away without turning back. So remember this. Trust is not a gift, it's a test. Emotion is not freedom, it's a chain. Loyalty is not a word, it's an act. And calculation is survival. In this life, you trust no one completely, not even yourself. But you move forward anyway, but not me. Because power doesn't wait for belief, it waits for action. That's the code of Thomas Shelby. Cold to some, brilliant to others, but undeniable to all. Because while others dream of peace, he built control. And while others trusted fate, Thomas Shelby made his own.